Projects here. Today I'll be taking a look at another chain custom, which this is kind of similar to one of our past customs that was featured on the channel a couple episodes back. This is our little red caboose, which is pretty cool. I really like this custom. It's one of my favorites in the city. But at around the same time, a couple days after, well, actually no, day after we built the red one, we built this. This is our black sort of half caboose, half flatbed, or half spotlight setup sort of thing, which is obviously a lot longer. We have a normal base as well as both of the articulating trucks on either side instead of having just the two fixed ones. But as I said, this custom is based around this one, the little red one, except now we have this little flatbed setup as well as the caboose here, which is actually the same exact build as this, pretty much, besides the windows aren't the same. Instead of having 3 of the older style, we have 2 of these sort of just box ones. But other than that, it's basically the exact same caboose, just placed on a bigger plate and in a different color, even while black is a shade. But anyway, before I take a look at the interior, let's go ahead and take a look at the exterior, starting with all this little detailing down here. We've got 2 of our sloped vents here, as well as a little red light with an arrow pointing to it. I don't remember why I put that there. We've got a gauge as well as a keypad here, and then next to that we've got a little ladder leaning up to the top. And then, I don't know what it's supposed to be. It looks kind of like the time travel thing from the DeLorean, which allows them to time travel. But here we've got the thing that kind of looks like that time travel thing. I don't know what it is. It's just supposed to add detail. Then right here we've got a big wheel, which I imagined was the brakes, which the roof just fell off. But on the other side, it's basically the same, but with a little bit different detailing. Here we've got a 1x2 printed tile, as well as another one over here. We have quite a couple of these, so here I got a chance to use some of them. And then, well, it was a little light with the arrow. And then here's our steps leading up to the top. And then right here we've got what I imagined was a compressed air tank. But you can kind of imagine, something different if you really want to. But other than that, there's nothing else on the bottom besides both of our trucks. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the sort of flatbed area. We've got 2 of our gates here, which is using a whole bunch of studs to hold it up, which I kind of like that look. It kind of gives sort of all these little things that hang off from the studs. Kind of looks like something you could grab onto to pull yourself up on these steps. But you also have that on the other side, as well as some light gray vents, and then a dark gray vent for our actual entry point here, as well as some 1x4 tiles with some studs underneath, which gives a pretty cool look. I don't think we've ever done that before on any custom builds. But at the front, we have a couple little lights, as well as up here. These ones are adjustable, so if you want to point them like that or point them like that, you can do whatever you want to. But the main sort of attraction in here is this little spotlight, which used to have a normal spotlight, but I changed it to this little 1x1 red piece, which I'm going to be changing again because it's kind of small and puny for the setup and the size that it has here. But you can adjust this up and down like this, as well as rotate it with one of those adjustable pieces under there. On the back, it's a much smaller area, but we've got a little brake wheel here, which I guess this can't really be the brake wheel because this is the brake wheel. But on the very back, we have a ladder here, which flips down and hits this little light gray sort of gate piece. I don't know what you'd call that. But other than that, not much here. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the sort of base, well, not base, but the actual caboose section. So it's a bit of a different setup for our lights here on the sides. We've got a sort of little fire extinguisher piece here with a 1x1 with the light underneath, and then on this side we'll have our red, and on the other side the green lights. And then as I said earlier, it's kind of taking the same shape as our last one, with this sort of Flying Scotsman sort of train car look here, with the little 1x1 at an angle there, which I think looks really good, which is why I used it here. But my dad built this, so I guess you could say that he built it and I gave him the idea. But now let's go and take a look at the interior. And to get inside, all we have to do is lift up the whole entire roof, which is kind of similar to the last design, except on the last design, the whole entire top came off. This is just on a base plate, and before I look inside, I'll take a look at this. We just have a couple of little lights here on this dark gray plate, which holds the roof in place from sliding off. And then up top, we have a double jumper setup, which on the last caboose, we just had a single line. But we didn't have any of the by 3 stud wedge pieces or slope pieces. We only had by 2 studs, so it gave us a whole entire 4 studs on top, which was more than last time. So we have 2 rows of bricks on jumper pieces, so it looks pretty cool. And on the top of the cab, well, not the cab, but I don't know what you call this little watch out point, we have the same sort of setup going on. With the last one, you just had a flat surface up there. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the interior. So inside, right there in the center, we have a table with a whole bunch of computers there, with a whole bunch of gauges and lights and stuff, which here's a weird one that I built up while we were doing this because I was bored. But we got darkest to lightest, so we've got red, orange, yellow, dark green, and light green sitting there, which is kind of one of my favorite parts. It looks like something that you do on, I don't know, how much something's in the city. Green is good, red is bad. And then here we've got the bad guy that I put in here. He's holding money. And then he's sitting here at this computer, which if I flip this up, you can see the piece under there. Next to that, you got a tape recorder, keypad with another red light, some valves, and a little Star Wars piece right there. And then over here, we have another computer with a little rotating gauge that says 23. And then another one of those old computer pieces there. And then you flip both of those down, and then you have your computer set up again. And the detail doesn't end there. On the wall, we have a number 1 and another one of those pieces that I used here. And then over here, we have a X-ray sign, which I was glad I got to use that somewhere that kind of looks appropriate. And then we got just a couple more little things here. But there's the interior, so real quick, I'll show you guys the figure, if I can get him out. So here's the little guy. He's wearing one of the old Wild West sort of suits from, I don't remember what movie it was from, but it was a line of Lego from a Wild West movie. We've got a burglar face here, and then obviously the sort of sheriff vest there. He's holding a $100 bill, because that's all that Lego makes. On the back, we just got some back close-up printing. Nothing too important there, though. And then back here, he just can sit right there in his little seat. And then you can place the roof back on to completely disguise him and hide him in his little caboose. So there is the sort of half flatbed lamp sort of setup there, and then the half caboose. So if you guys like the custom, or if you like the video, make sure you like it and subscribe and follow us on Instagram. Bye for now, and thank you for watching.